Hi, folks. Welcome to the preparedhomestead.com. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. You know, I haven't made a video that's really gotten under people's skin in a while. Realize that. Haven't really stepped on some toes here lately, so maybe it's time that I do so. Maybe it's time I say some things to get people fired up, good and bad. And I don't know, I felt like today is the day. I found a couple of things online. You know, you spend time online and you find things that are, well, a lot of times just flat out disgusting. So I thought it would be a good topic to somehow twist it into a preparedness video. With all the things, I've said this many times before. I've said it here on this channel, and I've said it to many people in person. Of all the things that are happening in the world today that that are signs and signals that we are in collapse, that our civilization is in decline, in rapid decline, really, I think. Personally, the number one thing that for me, and this may not be for you, but for me, that tells me that we're watching everything fall apart, and that it is the rapid decline in morality, the rapid promotion of evilness and vulgarness and satanic ways, and just degeneracy. It's becoming at a level that even I have been sometimes shocked at things that I've seen. Like, oh my goodness, are they really taking it that far? Is that really going to be accepted? And over again, it seems to be accepted. And in my personal opinion, that is one of the greatest signs that we're in those end times. And not just the moral degradation, but the immorality when it comes to religion, the promotion that Christianity can be, be side by side with some kind of vile disgustingness. There are, and I don't listen to any of this kind of stuff. I only know about it from seeing it in news feeds and stuff. But there's rappers out there, musical artists, if you want to call them that, that claim to be a Christian, and yet they are openly gay, and they make videos that are satanic, demonic, talking about the most vile and vulgar things, but yet they claim that they're Christian. And I know you're going to say, well, that's not that unusual, at least in Hollywood. That's happened. Yes, I mean, to a certain extent, that is true. But the things that are being promoted now, and it's okay morally. It's okay that we're castrating little boys and cutting body parts off of little girls. It's okay that little boys and little girls can go to adult immoral things. I'm trying to be careful with my words. I'm going to show you a couple screenshots here. This one here, I don't know who this is or anything about it other than just the screenshot. It's the New York Post or whatever. Supposedly this female pastor, is now also on OnlyFans, and you all know what OnlyFans is. I shouldn't have to describe that. Posting pictures of herself. And she says that it's okay to do both at the same time, because the posting the pictures of herself on OnlyFans is drawing her closer to God. Here's another picture, screenshot. This guy claims he's a Christian pastor, and he's openly gay, and you can be one and the same, and it's okay. And you might say, yeah, you're pulling out extremes here. You're finding extremes in the news or in social media, and that's not necessarily the norm, right? That's probably what most average Americans would say. And there may be a little bit of truth to that. But the problem is that we are watching the compromise of our morality, the compromise of biblical truths, more and more over and over again, to where what is considered the conservative, staunch Christian stance today, 20, 30 years ago would have been considered heresy. And you can actually track how the word, the gospel, the truth, it's all being watered down more and more every day, to the point that the things that are being done and promoted in the public square, per se, and sometimes literally, things that are being done in churches, things that are being done in front of children, I couldn't even consciously speak of them in detail on here because they're so awful. This is where we are today. And then the flip side is those that are truly trying to lead a moral life, and whether it's musically or movies or anything else, that they are trying to take a strong stance for biblical morality, for upholding the laws that God has laid forth for us, they are the ones that's being canceled. We're watching a complete reversal of what's been considered the norm for a long, long time. And yes, our world is progressively getting more wicked. But the point is that it's reaching a point now that the evilness is just, it's overwhelming, right? And so this, in my opinion, is one of the best examples. You can sit there and you can argue whether or not the dollar is going to crash or not, whether or not the stock market's going to crash. You can argue whether or not we will ever see, U.S. troops in Eastern Europe fighting Russia. You can argue whether or not there will ever be an EMP or a nuclear weapon or a Great Depression or an EMP or a solar flare or the Yellowstone caldera going up, right? You can sit there and you can have debate after debate of whether or not those kind of things will ever happen. But the one thing that's for sure that we can actually measure it, we can watch it with our own eyes right in front of our face, is how Western society is becoming more and more wicked. And this is, in my opinion, and you can argue all you want, but it's my opinion, is absolutely right out of the Bible. You can read the words of Yeshua himself, where he's talking about how things will become more wicked, how there will be so many false prophets, and that they will use his name, and people will cry out to his name, and how the love of each other will grow cold. We can watch and see how things right now are lining up so perfectly with brothers against brothers and children against their parents, and the immorality that is becoming so pervasive in our society. It's right out of end time prophecies. And all of this, even if it was the only thing that was going on in our world today, even if the economy was strong and the U.S. dollar was strong, or we didn't even have a fiat currency, if we were on a gold-backed system, if we were this strong, secure borders and everything else, if everything else was perfect in our society except this one thing, it is absolutely enough for me to see that we are in decline. We are involved in a collapse. We are watching it happen before our eyes. And so we can sit and we can debate all day long on all these other issues. And some of them are real, some of them can be very dangerous, some of them will happen. But this thing is happening. This thing is happening right before our eyes. And it's becoming awful. And I think that a lot of times, a lot of believers, because we have rightfully so separated ourselves from all of the stuff that, how many people that don't even have TVs in their home anymore. They don't watch TV, or they don't do certain things that maybe they used to, or maybe was considered acceptable, and they don't anymore because it's evil and it's wicked, or it's allowing that into their home. And so they're not even aware of how bad it really has gotten. The stuff that is being produced and pushed into everyone's faces. Folks that are homeschooling, like ourselves, a lot of times aren't even aware of how bad things are getting inside public schools. Parents that send their children to public schools, they're so busy with their lives. They want to believe that their little small town school is good. It's not one of those crazy liberal ones, right? We live in a conservative area. We're not, we're not San Francisco or anything. So I'm sure that, and I've talked to the teacher and I've talked to the principal. They're good people. They go to the local so-and-so church down the road. They're good people, so I know that even though it's public school, it's still a good one, and yet they don't realize the things that's actually going on. They don't realize how the Department of Education and all of these other organizations are pressuring schools, even and especially even in the conservative areas, to push the trans agenda, to push, pride parades and Pride Month and all this kind of stuff. In fact, I've heard it firsthand from school superintendents and from school board presidents that they offer them all kinds of grant money to help improve the school, but to accept the grant money, they have to agree to have Pride months and festivals and all this kind of stuff. And they don't, so many parents don't even realize what's actually going on. They don't realize that, what a child is actually capable of viewing online anymore, how easy it is to view not just sexual content, but demonic and satanic content. They don't realize how easy it is to view that or to hear that. When folks like you and I were children, when we were young, was that kind of stuff, did it exist? Of course it existed, but it was a little bit more difficult to get a hold of. Nowadays, it's just readily available right at their fingertips. They don't even have to really go digging around for it. I don't think that a lot of people fully understand the state of wickedness and just immorality that we're in right now. And like I said, if there was nothing else going wrong in our society except this one issue, it is enough. And I'm telling you, if you're believers in the good book, if you're preppers, if you're traditional conservative people, I'm not saying you need to be aware of this stuff in the sense that you watch it and that you view it, but you need to be aware that it's happening and build walls around your family and around your community. Start taking measures that some might say are very extreme, and you're probably going to get called all kinds of things. You're probably going to get ostracized by friends and family because you don't allow your children to participate in this birthday party or this or that because of what might be said or done or who might be there. You're going to have to start having strict standards. We can't go and be like it's been for decades where, that family over there doesn't believe like us, but it's okay for our children to kind of hang. You're not going to be able to do that anymore. You're going to start having to, and you should have already done this, building strict walls and strong walls around your family and being protective of the innocence that's still in your home. And then also for you and your wife or you and your husband and whoever's watching right now, because Satan's attacks are coming at all of us. And I believe wholeheartedly that his primary mission right now is to destroy the family. To destroy the family unit. If he can break the mom and the dad up and he can get the children hating the parents and going off and completely rebelling against the Bible and all the things that they've taught them, then he's won at least that battle. And we have to have strong defense against that. As preppers and as patriots and as Minutemen, we talk about defending our home and defending our property and what are we carrying, what gear we have, and what tactics and training we do. But how much time do we put into defending our home spiritually and morally? Because I'm telling you, that right now is probably more important than anything, You're putting all of your effort and energy into protecting the physical aspects of your family, and yet forgetting about or just not doing enough on the spiritual aspects. And that right now is under fire in ways that I don't think any of us can fully grasp how much is going on, especially behind the scenes. That is absolutely very finely focused on not just family, but traditional, conservative, Bible-believing families. And folks, I'm telling you, you need to be preparing yourselves for that and coming up with strict defenses for that. And you know, you may not be popular. Your friends and family and neighbors may think you're crazy. Like, this person's gone off the deep end of how they're so strict with their children and so strict with what comes in and out of their home. You're going to have people that probably you go to church with, or family members that are Christian too, that's going to say, oh, it's okay, you know, so-and-so's doing that. It's not a big deal. We're just supposed to accept that. It's all right. It's not a big deal. We're going to hear that. And you have to be strong and say that, no, this is not allowed in our home. This is not allowed in our lives, because the wickedness out there is growing in power. It's growing in popularity. It's growing in acceptance. And you cannot just assume anymore that there are certain protections to a child's innocence, because everything that we hold true to be pure and clean and holy is under direct attack. And you need to be preparing for it. Folks, you need to be preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and very much spiritually. Get your houses in order. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.